Hello and Merry Christmas. This is a laid-back, fun little retro video talking about some things I like it's 2011 YouTube, a Christmas tradition, usually involving wrestling, books, games, and this will be a short one. But come by, sip some cocoa this Christmas Eve, and let's talk about my 3 favorite wrestling matches of the year. Number 1, Rhea Ripley versus Io Shirai versus Bianca Belair. I am training to do professional wrestling, and after Mania, this was the match we all talked about and wanted to learn the most from. Shirai has that Rey Mysterio aura of put her in the match and everyone's gonna look awesome, the athleticism, the dynamic 3-way struggle for the women's title on the grandest stage. Shirai is the best in-ring wrestler of this generation, see the footage. Fight me. Rhea is a mainstream star and Bianca is among the most complete performers on the roster, and man, speaking of the best of a generation. Toni Storm versus Mariah May, the Hollywood ending. I have to not talk about any of these matches for too long because WWE and AEW do not play nice with fair use, and YouTube doesn't play nice with the jam, so let's just say, so rarely is a perfect story capped off with a perfect ending, and this was that. Mariah May's AEW exit so Blake Monroe could go elsewhere and Toni Storm could continue being, full stop, the best wrestling character, this Hollywood starlet lost out of time, of a generation. Fight me twice, it's that perfect of an ending. And speaking of, I adore the finish of John Cena's retirement match, a legendary figure in professional wrestling. Mr. Never Give Up taps out to Gunther after a long, hard-hitting affair, and I know a lot of people were upset at this, and I agree, WWE has not been good this year. But I love that Cena took one last look at the horizon and gave up. He's done. Gunther is a made man. Cena gave to the next generation as he goes to rightfully conquer Hollywood. And as someone who watched Cena in my formative years, yeah, that imperfect guy is probably the best one right now to receive the title. Greatest of all time, fight me 3 times. What a finish. Yay. Last year, I noted some childhood favorite games that I played during Christmas time, but there are others that are somewhat more recent. Don't Starve Together, namely, has eaten up a lot of my play hours recently. It is a delightful survival crafting game with a Tim Burton art style that I haven't played in years, but I decided to check out the winter update and was surprised at just how much Clay Entertainment put into this game in the meantime. They put so much, I had to shout them out here. The scrapbook, the UI changes, the bosses, the "Is that Balatro?" in my whole other video game. Maybe I made Skyrim my 8th or 11th best game of 2025 too early. But speaking of Skyrim, does any other game capture winter as well? You know what? Let's do a wintry montage. I read a lot of books this year for a book club, and I may make a dedicated video on that, but I do want to discuss just 3 books briefly that I read this year, and I'm going to use this Deltarune footage because it's a library office. Close enough. Book 1 from the club, which had a lot of great philosophy reads, Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu. The Essence of the Tao is by far my favorite of these selections, which I will read, and encourage you to look it up. There's free alts out there. Chapter 14, The Essence of the Tao. To look but not to see is called Yi. To listen but not to hear is called Zi. To strive for but not to attain is called Wei. These 3 things are beyond our comprehension. Together, they form the Tao. It is neither bright above nor dark below. Endlessly linked, it cannot be defined as it returns to nothingness. The formless form, shape without substance, it is called the abstract. From in front you cannot see its beginning. From behind you cannot see its end. Understand the ancient Tao to order the affairs of today. This is the essence of the Tao. Book 2, a free month choice, which I filled with my signed copy of Everything is Tuberculosis by John Green, and I am a fan of the author, so do note that. But I really like how he explains the systemic, deep, human faults of tuberculosis and the history of it, and how this isn't just a story of a disease. It's a story about our choice to fail to address it over and over again, but that work is ongoing to make a better choice collectively. TB fighters all the way, big recommend for this book. And speaking of green, I used to make videos about John Green's Anthropocene Reviewed, rating facets of the human condition on a 5-star scale, and I think I said last year it wouldn't be another year-long wait for another installment in talking about this book, this weird little running bit of a series on this channel, but here we are, and Merry Bloody Christmas to you. This book is great, go read it, but the next chapter that I was going to talk about was Googling Strangers. In this essay, Green notes how horrifyingly easy it is to access information about other people, even with the Orwellian overtones of giving so much of ourselves over to corporations. Green can't quite bring himself to condemn Googling Strangers, and neither can I. I won't share the story of why Green ultimately rates Googling Strangers 4 stars, as like with a lot of this book, it really is his story to tell. Instead, I will share a shorter, simpler one of my own. I remember when Sir Christopher Lee passed away, and I had been a fan of his work, especially as Saruman in Lord of the Rings, but of course, I did not know him or had even seen most of his work. And when he passed, I did what I think a lot of us do. We look them up a bit. We dig a little deeper. We pay a little more attention to the life they had just got done living. That is grim. But while Googling, I came upon this interview he gave, and there's this line that has always stuck with me.
And I'd worked in all sorts of places, singing, acting, sweeping the stage, working in rep, working in the theatre. In other words, learning, something that sadly, few young actors and actresses are prepared to do these days. You have something behind you, some sort of foundations of experience and versatility. That's fine. You will go on. You will last.
I think about that little interview snippet so often. It informs my ability to learn, even and especially when there seems to be nothing to learn or to be gained. It's a wonderful snapshot of a genuinely cool dude that I found by just Googling him. I don't know if that's respectful. I don't know if it's worth the Orwellian gambit we find ourselves in with tech corporations today, but I do know I have learned so much from Googling Strangers, I can't help but agree. It's 4 stars out of 5. Outro time, and this will be brief. I don't have anything to say here I didn't say in my Best Games of 2025 video, other than I often get comments wondering why I don't have more views than I do, which is a lovely compliment, but the truth is, I make stuff because I like to, not because I've been trying to get views alone. I mean, this video will die on the vine. The specials always do, and I'm chill with that. This is just a fun, silly little video. But by and large, and moving forward, I am going to try and make more content, and content that is presented to get views. Not to make disingenuous content, but I do think I want to see if I can gain a bit more of an audience with this hobby of mine and maybe do right by the support I've received so far that I'm very thankful for, especially from you, person watching the outro of my Christmas special. I make YouTube videos because I like writing and researching and editing and recording and publishing videos. But maybe it would all be even more fun if I tried a little harder, so I'm gonna do that. But first, I'm gonna have a very Merry Christmas. See you in the new year.